Hey everyone, Jack here from Peach Guitars. I just want to give you a bit of a mid-2020 update on one of our favourite brands, Mayones Guitars. We just received a shipment that is kind of reflects some of the reasons that we took them on in the first place, i.e. you'll see accompanied in the description box below a link to a video of the guys when they did a factory tour last year, and John actually hand-picked some of the tops that went into these guitars that we've now received. So it's very exciting that we've received them. I just want to spend a few minutes today to talk you through some of the developments that have gone on for this year and for this batch, including a brand new model to us as well in the form of the Hydra. So we've got 6 guitars that are brand new. We've got 3 Duvell Elite models and we've got 3 Hydra models, and I'm just going to take a little bit of time to talk you through each of those 2 families, and you're going to hear sound clips of each guitar as well. Okay, so in this video I'm not going to delve too deeply into the origin and the history and the kind of the purpose, if you like, of Mayones Guitars. I've done that in another video that's going to be linked below as well. So if you want to find out more about the brand, that will be the place to do it. You can also find out more in the other video I mentioned of the factory tour that the guys took last year. This video is really specifically about these guitars, and I just wanted to draw a bit of attention to them because they are pretty special. So this is a model, the Duvell, that we have seen before, and I've talked about this in the Mayones overview video. But the 3 examples of Duvell Elites that have turned up today are pretty striking. I picked this one as probably my favourite guitar of the bunch. What's really nice is that in the first batch of guitars we saw from Mayones, they were mainly focused on the Regius model, which is a great guitar as well. However, for me, I think the Duvell is a little bit more of a stripped back, straight ahead, single purpose kind of an instrument, which you may think that may be at the expense of versatility. I don't happen to think that's true. I think that these are great guitars for a number of different styles, but they really excel at the kind of MO of what Mayones Guitars stands for, I think. So, that being said, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking specifically about this guitar and just to walk you through some of the specs that make this up, because I think this gives a great example of what makes Mayones such a standout guitar company that do not adhere to the norms of guitar building. So, the spec on this guitar, you've got this amazing Spalted Burl green burst top. And when I talked in the overview video about the attention to detail that Mayones put into their instruments, that is very much the case with this guitar. You've got a matching volume knob on this guitar to the green burst top, which is really, really cool. You've got a black limber body, which is pretty much just as ornate as the top of this guitar is. In case you haven't seen Mayones guitars before, they pretty much all adhere to this kind of exotic wood theory, but this guitar really has it in spades. I think that the wood choice, as I said, this was hand-picked, this top. The wood choice in this guitar is pretty exemplary. Moving up to the neck, you've got the kind of tried and true Mayones Wenge and Purple Heart 5-ply neck combination on here, which is really strong, really stable, but also tonally very fast, and it's got a lot of attack to it. Now this very interesting looking fingerboard is actually rosewood sap as well, so fairly traditional kind of tone wood choice for the fingerboard, but with a little bit of an edge. And then you've got a very cool matching headstock as well to the body finish. Couple of other, notable features on this guitar: bare knuckle juggernaut pickups, which is where this fancy design is coming in, and you've got a Charla bridge as well. So very, very simple guitar, not too many specs to actually talk about, but it's when you break them down you realise just how different these guitars are, and that's what gives them such a signature sound. You're going to hear in this video I've gone for that very kind of crisp, higher gain tone, but also some very ambient clean tones, and as I said, this guitar is deceptively versatile. It will handle all of those different gain ranges, all of those different tonalities, and it never sounds like it's trying to do something that it's not comfortable with. You can really utilise the three positions of pickups as well as the coil split that's built into all these guitars, and just with a simple 3-way switch and a volume control you've actually got a lot of tones at your fingertips. I wanted to specifically use this guitar as the example of Duvell that I talked about, but the other 2 that have come in on this shipment are just as striking. All the spec is going to be available, as well as high resolution images and full listing videos as usual on our website. So if you want to find out more about those guitars as well as this guitar, you can do so at the Peach Guitars website. But it's just worth pointing out just how visually striking these are as well. And it's a great example of the different options that you can get from the Mayones catalogue in terms of the electronics, the wood combinations that you use, so many different factors that go into each build. They're all hand-picked by the team here. As I said, all these tops were hand-picked by John as well at the factory. So real stunning guitars, all really unique and all very, very high quality. Okay, so I have covered the Duvell before, but I haven't talked about this guitar. This is the first batch of the Hydra models that we've seen in store. I think this might actually be the first headless guitar that we've ever had in stock. So it's quite a pivotal moment, and I think these instruments are going to appeal to a certain kind of player. But again, as was the case with the other Mayones guitars I've talked about, they might actually be more versatile and more appropriate than you may initially think. So the Hydra is obviously born to kind of compete with some of the other headless designs that are on the market, but with the Mayones twist, which is that very high grade of attention to detail, very high grade of materials, electronically, and in terms of the woods that they use. And this guitar kind of best reflects those sensibilities. So this is a Hydra 7. This has got one of those amazing tops, as all of these guitars do, but this happens to be, I think, the most visually striking, the most interesting. Now, in case you're wondering about the fundamentals of headless guitar design, you tune it down here, obviously, not up here. And there's just a couple of reasons that I think this might actually benefit you as a player, particularly for as a live instrument. Because you don't have the headstock at the end of the guitar, you do actually find that the center of balance shifts quite dramatically into the body. So you don't find yourself kind of weighing to and fro with this guitar. You also find that you don't have the visual distraction, whether you think about it or not, when you're playing a regular headstock laden guitar. You often look up there and you are distracted by just the visual element of having a headstock. Without that, you actually focus more on the neck and the fingerboard. That's maybe a bit of a trivial thing, but that's just one of the benefits that I think is actually quite relevant in this guitar. This one's got quite a few option boxes ticked. So this is a 7-string version as opposed to the regular 6. I believe there's an 8-string version coming as well at some point. But Mayones will basically build anything that you want out of this model, as well as any of the other models in the catalogue. And you've also got the fan fret option on this guitar, which, as far as I understand it, is less to do with intonation, more to do with the scale length and the way that it feels under the finger. You get a little bit more tension in the lower strings, a little bit less in the higher strings. And that's also due to the fact of the headless design as well. The string tension changes a little bit. You may find that under the finger this guitar responds differently to a headstock equivalent. One other potential benefit that you may find is that you don't have the increased break angle beyond the nut, so it's a lot more secure. Tuning stability is a little bit greater as well by the fact that you don't have the strings diverting in different angles beyond the nut. It's perfectly straight, so the tuning stability is great. So I've got 3 Hydras in this particular batch. We've got this 7-string, and the other 2 guitars represent kind of a fair chunk of what else is available. So you've got 2 6-string options there. one with a gloss finish and regular frets, and then you've got another 6-string with a matte finish on the top with the fan fret option as well. So basically any kind of spec that you're looking for is pretty much represented in these 3 models. As was the case with the 3 Duvells, if you want to find out more specs and information about these 3 specific guitars, you can do so at our website. So as I said, I have played all these guitars, and I think you're going to hear all of them in this video, as well as the individual listing videos that we normally film for our website. All the tones today are courtesy of the Orange Rockaverb 100, and I'm using a Wampler ethereal reverb and delay for the clean tones, and I'm boosting the gain tones with a Ryra 808 Tube Screamer pedal just for a little bit of a clean boost. Right, so there we are. Hope you've enjoyed this brief overview, and as I said, kind of a mid-2020 update to Mayones Guitars. There's plenty of other models available and in stock on our website, peachguitars.com. So if you want to find out more about the brand, you can firstly check out the overview video that we've already filmed earlier this year. You can check out the factory tour video that's going to be up now as well, where the guys went to the factory and picked out the tops that you see before you last year. And you'll gain a lot of understanding about the methods and processes that they undertake that way. And as always, if you want to find out any more information about any of these products, you can do so at peachguitars.com. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, and make sure that you subscribed to the YouTube channel. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.